Hello everyone, this is Betsy from Ideas Times 2, and as promised I have a mini envelope paperclip idea for you. So it can be made a couple ways, and so I thought I'd show you all the things I came up with, kind of the basic idea on all of them, but they're each a little different. So I went ahead and clipped them on a mixed media journal that I've made. And I just clipped them on the cover here so you could see how they look on a project. So here is one that is, I guess you would say, would you say horizontally placed? I guess horizontally placed. And it is a hidden paper clip, so there's another envelope on the other side. This one is the same idea. It is vertically placed, also a hidden paper clip. This one has a little, I guess, fabric, what would you call it, decoration on the paper clip. And it's also a double, so there is an envelope on the other side. This one's a wee tiny one, and I left it open because I'll be going through how to make that as well. And that one is not double-sided, it just has a half-hidden paper clip. I'm not sure what you would call it. And then this one has a hidden tab as well, and it is double-sided. So we'll go over how to make all of these. So the first thing I wanted to say is you can make these little envelopes in a couple of different ways. So, and I made all of these in different ways, just so I could get a feel for that and explain it back to you. So the first one would be to use die cuts. I think these are, let me see, no, it does not say Sizzix on them. So but I know Tim Holtz has one little mini envelope die, and these are not them. I don't know where these are from because I usually put my die cuts in a separate sleeve, and so then I sort of lose, you know, I should keep the paper that goes with it, but on some of them I don't. And so here are a couple of samples. These came in the same die set, and you can just go ahead and cut them out with dies, which are super nice because it has the score mark in it as well. So all you have to do is fold it up and you're good to go. So this one was made with a die. As you can see, it's this one right here. And then you just fold it at the score marks. So those are really nice. This one also was made with the smaller one, like that. All right, so there's those. Very easy, but if you don't have die cuts, maybe you have the envelope punch board. So here's the regular, the larger size envelope punch board. And I went ahead and bought myself, not recently, but a while ago, I bought myself the small one, the small punch board. And this is the one that makes the real tiny 1 inch by 1 inch envelopes. Okay. They also make other sizes too, but that's the one that I had made here is the 1 inch. So they do make other sizes. Now this big envelope punch board, the smallest you can get is a 2 inch by 3.5 inch, which would still work for our journals. And there's like 3 inches by 3 inches. So you can make several smaller sized ones from that. But if you want to make a super small one, the mini punch board is the way to go on that. So I was just going to show you guys how to use this real quick. So I wanted to make the 1 inch one again, and so it's got a chart right on here, and it indicates what paper size you need to make the card size of 1 inch by 1 inch. So it says the paper size should be 2 by 2, which is what I made here, and then the score line is 1. So I'll show you what they mean by that. And I'm going to zoom this in just a tiny bit here. Hopefully we can get that. So there is a ruler here, measuring apparatus. So we go up to the 1 inch line on that, and then this has a built-in scoring tool, And this is the indentation for the score line. So you just, this is at 1 inch because that's what it told us here on the chart. So we score it, just go up there till it hits that aqua piece there. Turn it around and then line up that score line that you just made. You can see it better on that side. That scoring line we just made, we're going to line that up with this little arrow part that sticks out, that juts out there. So we're going to line up our score line with that and score it again. But you don't need to pay any more attention to the side over there. Score that, then line up that line, you know, doing quarter turns, and then line up the line again, score it, and the same thing again. Well, on this particular one is a square envelope, so all these did say 1 inch, but if they're rectangular, then this is going to look weird, but you only have to worry about it one time when it just says the 1 inch score mark, because that's only the initial score mark, and then the rest of them you're using the lines already made. Oh, and I forgot to do something too. So each time you do that score line, I'm just lining them up where they were before. Each time you do that score line, you have to punch. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to fold this puppy. So there we go. Now it's going to look like that. And if you want these to be rounded, there's a neat, nifty little section back here. And you just punch, but you may have a separate little punch for this too. But if you want them rounded, there's also a little punch there. All right. That makes a very fun and easy little envelope. So I'm just folding on those score lines, and there you have probably the tiniest envelope ever, right? Like that. All right, there's that. And then the other way, of course, is to just go ahead and make one yourself. So that's what I did on this one here, which is super nice. So you just make a long rectangle. Mine was 3 1/4 inches long by 2 inches wide. So 3 3/4 inches long, 2 inches wide, and then I folded it up. You can make it whatever size you'd like. I folded it up about 1 1/4 inches up this way to make the base. And for the flap, I folded it down. It's about 1 3/4 inches. So fold that down like this. And then I did go ahead and just to kind of give it a more finished look, I punched the flaps corners and just made them a little bit round like this. And then this kind, of course, you're going to need to either just glue this portion on each side, and then you've got your envelope, or I went ahead and sewed it, and you could sew any of these if you'd like. So I did choose to sew this one, and that's the look you get with that. But before you glue anything, you could do some stitching on these, even just like 1 or 2 rows or whatever you'd like. So stitched or not stitched, they wind up to be pretty cute. All right, so that's how you make just like a homemade envelope. All right, so we're going to start with this little one envelope clip. Now you may say, well, why not just take your envelope, put it over, and put a clip on it, right? And I do that all the time. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. But to not lose the clip or get the pieces separated, it might be kind of fun anyway to just go ahead and make a piece where you have the clip already attached. So either way is fine, but I just thought I'd show you real quick how to do this one. So you're going to have your envelope open like this, need a little scrap paper, and it doesn't have to be the same paper as your envelope. It definitely can be different. In fact is, why don't I make it different so you can see it a little bit better. So what we're basically doing is sort of lining the back of the envelope. See if that fits. And it doesn't have to go all the way down, but it has to be just big enough to, small enough to fit in there and big enough to cover up that paper clip. So I like to make it to look like it's sort of lining the envelope, so that when the envelope gets opened, all you see is this, pretty lining. So then what we need to do, so we have our little lining piece. And then what we're going to do is, this clip is just tiny, right? It's 1/4 inch, I believe. So I'm just going to do a slit of about 1/4 inch on the top flap where it bends of the fold there. Then I'm going to take my clip and put it in. You don't have to, it doesn't matter if it's the long side, the short side. I'm going to put the short side in. So all I'm doing is putting that paper clip in the slot that we just made. Okay, and it looks like it's going to be easier for me to put the long side in, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then have that. Okay, so I just put the long side in, and then the short side is in the back. But that's enough for it to clip on. Let's see, it's enough for it to stay and to clip on. So this will be the back side of the envelope, and this is the inside of the envelope. Okay, so then you're going to take your lining piece. Let's see what's the right way for the music. There it is. Spread that around a little bit and just glue that right in, and then glue your envelope shut. Whoops, these go down first usually. If you have any stray glue, got to make sure to get that off, otherwise your envelope won't open. Okay, so now I'm going to little bead of glue on each side of this bottom flap, so that when we fold these over, that will stick right on. Okay, and so there you have one version, which just holds everything nice and neat. And you could put a little little piece of yarn or something to stick out right here before you put that clip down. And that's one way. And then just you decorate. You can decorate these, or use like this. Obviously, you don't need to decorate it because the paper is already decorated. But you can use little, tiny Tim Holtz ephemera, little fussy cut or something like that on there. Tiny little label, little piece of lace, and then you've got yourself a nice little one-sided paper clip. So I totally love that. Now the flaps will probably stay by themselves, but even if you need a little help, you can also still attach a tiny little paper clip. I love that look. I'm a big fan of these little paper clips. You could also, before you attach this, you could put a little belly band here and then just slip the envelope flap down underneath it. So different ways that you can do that. Okay, so the next one, also I'd like to mention too, I use paper instead of cardstock. If you use cardstock, and especially by the time you get a double layer of cardstock with flaps and everything, it is going to be very thick. So if you want to just keep your journal, on the thin side, easier to write and stuff like that, I would recommend just plain paper for these envelopes, but you certainly could do it however you like. Cardstock would work. Some cardstock also splits. So I think, our regular envelopes that we mail every day are made out of paper, so I really do think that it's a good way to go. Okay, so the next one is our double-sided. Okay, so let's do that. I do have two the same size. And you know, technically they don't really have to be the same size either. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, let's do this. They can be the same paper. I think I'm going to zoom out just a little bit because I want to make sure I'm still in frame here. They could be, yeah, they could be the same paper. They could be different paper because, you know, I think I did it both ways. No, pretty much made them different all ways. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just a plain one, and then I'm going to show you one like doing the tab. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is close up our envelopes. A little bit of glue here and here. So now we have our envelope shape, and if you'd like to give yourself a nice little rounded flap, so did that. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, and then we're going to take, so these are the fronts of the envelopes. Those aren't going to show at all. It's just the flaps because, you know, we're going to want to put something inside of our envelopes, right? So the fronts of the envelopes will not show. So also keep that in mind when you're cutting your paper, right? This one, I didn't think of it, and I have a really nice lace pattern on the front of my envelope, but of course it's not showing. It's not showing at all. So that, just keep that in mind. Okay, so the next part, so this is just like the average size paper clip here. We are going to need 2 scraps of paper. Now, technically it does not have to look the same as your envelope, but I have been making them the same color as my envelope just because. All right, so here they are. So the only thing we're gonna need, they don't have to be straight or anything. The only thing we need is just to make sure they're smaller than the envelope. So I'm gonna trim this one up a little bit. Make sure they, so they're smaller than the envelope, and then just kind of hold up your paper clip and then determine how much on each side you need to make sure the glue is going to hold that paper clip in, which, you know, it can go all the way across the envelope. That's no big deal either. So, all right, so that's it. So then what we're going to do, this envelope, we're going to just lay it right side up, and then this paper is going to be right side up. It's going to look like that. So then just take, it doesn't matter, long end, short end, it doesn't matter, just put your paper clip over the top of it like that so that you've split it, you know, and then we're going to glue it on like this. All right, so what we're going to do next is glue the back of your scrap paper with the paper clip attached to it. Be generous with the glue, but make sure it doesn't ooze out over the sides because we want your envelope to work, or your clip to clip. Also make sure that the very bottom part is glued down pretty well. So near the center, just glue that right onto the front of that envelope. Make sure your sides are glued down pretty well. So we don't want the clip to, see it like this. I need to redo that little corner. We don't want the clip to like get stuck in and out, or on and off of the page, I should say, because we want it to be a smooth little clip that we can take on and off as desired. There we go. So there's that part. Okay, now we're going to take our other envelope, also lay it front side in front of you like this. Let's see, so here's my paper that I've already trimmed. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I can probably take a little bit off the side here. So what you're going to do next, since this is going to be glued on like this, we are going to take our scrap and put it right side down like this and put it underneath the other side of that clip, like that. Then we're going to take our glue all over the place. Make sure you get your edges pretty well. Put a little glue on the inside of the clip. Okay, and then we're going to take this and just even it all up and lay it down. Press it firmly together like this. Put that clip down a little farther if we need to. It doesn't bother me to if it shows a little bit. Okay, so there we go, and then you will slip this over the edge of a page, and then you've got an envelope here and an envelope there. Okay, now if you had wanted, let me take this apart real quick. If you would have wanted something on the paper clip, you would put that on first before you do any gluing. Okay, so there's one done. And this is why it's important to have the bottoms and the edges glued down, so that you can just slip it over without it getting caught on any of those scraps that are on the inside. So you can also make your envelopes, obviously. You can make them so they slip on going this way. And to do that, you're going to put your scrap and your clip on like this, just going straight up and down. This one, oops, did I just say that wrong? Let me check again. You would put your clip on going sideways, excuse me. You'd put your clip on going sideways. Okay, so the envelope goes up and down like this. The clip would go sideways if you're going to stick it on like that, so that it flaps up. Okay? All right, I'm going to show you about the tab next. And you cannot, if you're going to put a, let me get this put on the edge here. If you're going to put an eyelet in there, you have to do that at the very end. So let's hold off on the eyelet, but let's get this on. So once again, I'm just going to go ahead and glue my envelopes together. There's one. This one I made out of the same paper. Oops, my glue is bubbling up, so I'm just going to grab some with my finger here. There we go. So there's our two envelopes. All right, and it's very similar, very similar. We're gonna, the first thing to do is apply the tab. So we want our tab to be sticking out a little bit from our page, right? So we are going to put the tab, oops, I did the wrong side. That's all right. We're going to use this side. Instead of the green tab, we're going to have the white. Okay, so we're going to put our tab on the outside of your tab, put a little bit of glue on there, and attach it on to the front of your envelope. Like that. Just kind of look at it to make sure that's sticking out far enough for you. Okay. And then on the other side of the outside part, of the part you want showing on the tab, put another line of glue on that side. And then we are going to, here's the flap, we're going to attach the tab, and I'm going to pull it out just a tiny bit. So we have front of the envelopes together and the tab attaching both of them that way, like this. Of course, if you're going to yeah, if you're going to put it on the other side of the page, it's going to be going like that. So that is something you need to think about as well. Okay, so we're not quite ready to put our eyelet in. We still have to kind of wait for that. Ink it up a little bit there. And then it's exactly the same way. So we're going to take some scrap paper, which that one seems a little too long. There we go. Might as well get this one all trimmed up too. There's another little scrap paper. See what I mean? It doesn't have to be perfectly straight or anything like that, but there's two little scraps. So we're going to take the paper clip, put it over one of the scraps, just like this. Doesn't matter front side, or I mean long side, short side on those little, I don't know what you'd call it, prongs or something. Ends of the paper clip, doesn't matter. And then you're going to do the exact same thing. Let's see. All right, so I put it on like this. So it's going to slip in like this. So put it horizontal to your flap, okay? Like that. And then same thing on this. That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to put it underneath here. There we go. We put it underneath. I was like so confused for a minute. So don't do what I do. Put it underneath the clip, then put your glue on, and then just smash them together and it'll stay. And then you'll have your, see, your colored paper is going to look the same as your envelope, which, like I said, it probably doesn't matter, but I sort of like to do it that way. Okay, so now you've got your hidden clip. Now you can go ahead and put an eyelet in if you'd like. And then it slips on just like this. And then you can do your dangle if you'd like. And like I said, you can either put the small clips to keep the flaps shut, which I really do like that. Also, you can decorate, I think, before or after the clips. It's not going to matter too much as long as you're pretty sure where you're going with the gluing and all that. Oops. Oh, there we go. It was stuck together. So like I said, you can just do that. Or a lot of these, especially if you give it a real nice crease, the flaps are going to stay down by themselves. Or you could put a little belly band and then just tuck that flap underneath. And that can all be done after the clips are all done too. I could decide to put a belly band on right now. All right, so I hope that explains it. I'm super happy with them. I think they're real cute. I hope you do too. So I will put a link down below where you can find us. We're on Instagram, we have a Facebook group and an Etsy shop, and obviously this YouTube channel, and we would love to have you subscribe. Click the notification bell so you can get our videos. We've got lots of videos coming up. Here's a little collage on something I'm working on for Your Creative Studio. Asked us to make some projects, and so Cindy and I are both making projects for that. All kinds of exciting things coming up, so I hope you join us. Oh yeah, I also had mentioned that I was smashing through a paper pad, and I have some projects done on that as well. Just show you a few things real quick. And so there will be some tutorials coming up on these types of things as well. So, all right, take care everybody, and we will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.